That last time?
Hey everybody, Jim Chester here. I have Thomas Lamar next to me. We're live.
This is weird for me that we're live.
I said live, and he's like, "Are we live yet?"
Back in my day, it was live to hard drive, which just meant no editing. You know, it's like watching Saturday Night Live on the West Coast. You're just like, wow, they didn't edit it.
But this guy here was the predecessor to what we're doing today, and you did something called spinal column radio, and you came out at New Beginnings. What year was that?
Fall 2010.
Okay.
And my son, who is actually behind the camera, get over here right now. I want to introduce you to Logan. Careful.
I'm not gonna your stuff.
Logan was my audio engineer at the time. He was 11 years old when we were at New Beginnings, and now he's 19. And he's still, in a sense, my audio engineer. He's been my tech guy since the age of 9. And the guy knows his stuff. And not only does he know his stuff, he knows chiropractic, which is awesome. Logan currently is working in my office as a chiropractic assistant to see if this is what he really wants to do. He doesn't want a career as a chiropractic assistant. It would be as a chiropractor, a chiropractor, but he's checking it out, and he knows his tech. And this is what I wanted to say about this was I have had CAs that help me with my social media, and they kind of put stuff out, and usually it's cut and paste and stuff. Logan puts out a post, and I look at him like, that's pretty good, and he puts out another post. I'm like, that's really good, son. Where did you get the copy for this? Did you like do some research? No, Dad, I wrote it. You wrote it? Yeah. With like what? Just, Dad, I had a good teacher. I listened to you, Dad, on all of those spinal column radios, all the 400 plus interviews. I was there, don't you remember? And plus, Mom's a good English teacher. So it's interesting when you hire okay. So here's the formula, chiropractors. You start a podcast. You take your young son at the time, who's very impressionable, and he's your audio engineer, or she's your audio engineer.
And bring them and have them sit through 70 interviews.
And feed them very little food, and do like 25, interviews like in 2 days, and things happen. And then it's baked in. It's baked in at that point. They don't know how else to communicate.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, so you can leave now, and we're going to continue.
So that's what you see is like this Chiro Fest is a family affair. And
Absolutely.
What you've done is you've brought your son out here and grown him into this environment. Yeah. And now he's working with you at your office.
I would be remiss if I left out that my daughter Paige is also working in the office.
Okay.
So I have 2 of my children. I have 9 children now. That's new. There you go. Exclusive right here on the Chiro Hustle. Because when I ended Spinal Column Radio, and it ended, it may be coming back. I mean, I just got to focus on inside first, and then so I can afford to step away. But at the time, was it chiropractor and dad of 7. That was it. 7 of them. Now there's 9. We got the baseball team, and for those of you who want to know, 3 boys, 6 girls, and Logan being the eldest of the boys.
And you have 2 of them working at your office.
And 2 currently, and we are homeschooling parents, and now we're thinking, you know what? This has to be part of the curriculum. You got to work in Dad's office, and already. Number 3 child is just like lining up and filling out the application. She can't wait to come in to work for us, and it's going to be awesome.
So let me ask you, why Chiro Fest? Why do you keep coming back here?
Oh, Jim, because I need the CEs. No, I'm joking. You come here so you can gather around like-minded chiropractors. I mean, let's face it, most of us are not. We're islands, and we are out there. We're fighting the fight, and we're leaders, and we're getting arrows shot at us, and we need that. We need to be re-dipped. We need to get back in. We need, iron sharpens iron, and actually, I enjoy telling my tribe, if you will, my patient members that my patients that I'm going to Chiro Fest. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to learn more, so we can serve at a higher level when we come back. And they love that. They want to see that I am not stagnant, that I am continuing to lead a charge. And and I come so I can hang out with Jim Chester. And I can take his mic because we're back, everybody. No, I'm joking. So I want to ask you, Jim.
Yes.
Why do you come to ChiroFest?
Well, I was making a film 6 years ago, and I called up Paul Reed, and I said, hey, Paul, I'm a very inspired individual. I'm making a film on chiropractic. Can I come out here and interview the people speaking at your event? Can I come out here and interview the people attending? And then can I interview the vendors so I can get, like, some content for this film that we're making? He goes, pump the brakes, boy. And I go, what? He goes, what's in it for me? Because that's always the big thing is people like, well, if I'm going to let you in here and you're going to do your interviews, what do I get out of it? So I go, Paul, great question. I just did the same thing at this seminar called Mile High. And what I did for them was I did testimonials and I created these little snippets that they could promote their event for the next year. And he goes, cool, let's do it. So I booked our flights out here. We did a couch surfing experience. I didn't know these people we were staying with. Had like minimal money, so we were on a shoestring budget, and we came out here to ChiroFest. We came in, we interviewed everybody under the sun that we could get on a set, and that's some of the core interviews that we did for our first movie.
I remember this, and when I was wrapping Spinal Column Radio, we had so much content, we were just trying to get it out so we could just end cleanly, and you come on scene, and I was like, oh, where were you? I know that we would have done something collaboratively. I mean, you are just out there. You're at almost every event under the sun. At least that's my perception. And you're continuing to go strong. And so you started, was it 2014 when you started, or 2015?
This is my fifth one of these.
This is your fifth one.
Yeah.
You don't know when your launch date was? When was your first?
Chiro Hustle?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We're 131 episodes old, and we come out once a week. So we're just about 2.5 years.
Right, but the movie came out when?
6 years ago. We started production for that.
Right.
And it came out 5 years ago.
All right, so how can people get the movie?
So it's chiropracticthedocumentary.com, and we just came out with our second follow-up called Project Patient. ProjectPatientTheMovie.com. Go there and you can get a download actually to our first movie. So you can watch a trailer for film 2 and get a free digital download of film number 1.
Why would you not want to do that? So I think we should take the mic and go around. We need to talk to people. I'm trying to train this guy to do Man on the Street. That was something that Logan and I would do, and it was crazy. But you've got quite the setup here. You're working with local gold. I think that's cool. More and more people are seeing the power of what you're doing, and they want to be part of it.
Yeah, I think co-branding is like what we can really hang our hat on, because everybody wants to get more exposure. Honestly, most people just don't know how to leverage media, and they don't know how to create quality content like you were saying Logan was doing, creating great posts with good copy. So many people don't know how to do that. So when I can co-brand with other great companies, it gives them somebody as a trusted resource in this arena. Plus I can put a good sponsor and a good brand to me to drive them business.
I don't want to leave that, but do you hear that background noise? I'm big into audio, and that, how can you be next to those people? That sucks. There's like a vibrating thing next door. I remember, was it Logan, one is Cal Jam 2012, is that when it was? And we were right next door to the Vitamix, and we'd be interviewing like Guy Reekman, and you hear this, it's like, oh, they're making some greens.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about, but I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Because Jim, you're so good at this. I see you online. You're constantly, you pose questions online continuously, tenaciously, and your engagement level it's like consistent. It's there. Talk about that.
Well, early on, I knew if I was going to really develop a brand, I had to meet my community. And I had to engage them. And one of the things I came to understand is that the more that we can engage our community, they don't care what we have to sell to them. They care what we have to say to them. So if we are in a constant flux of communication with them, then you build your Dream 100. You build your tribe of 100. And once you build that Dream 100, that tribe of 100, then you can say, in 2.5 years, I took this from 0 to 15,000 listens an episode. So that's what it was all about. It was about checking the aptitude and the engagement level of my audience on a daily basis. So when I was going to launch this, that people knew exactly who I was, they knew exactly what I stood for, they knew exactly what I was interested in. So then I could actually poll them on a daily basis and find out what they were interested in. So then I could curate my languaging around what mattered in this whole arena of chiropractic.
Wow, that is awesome. And I got to be honest, I just got a little touch of podcaster envy there when you said 15,000 listens. When I started, the biggest challenge we had was explaining to people what a podcast was. And like Jim Dubell, like, how do I listen to this now, Tom? You know, we actually, in the beginning with Jim Dubell at New Beginnings, hope he's watching, Jim. I love you.
Love you, Jim.
He created, or we created CDs. We would take the interviews that we did, and we would pull the most gold out of it, the little 2 to 5 minute clips. And he would get on the telephone and he would call my studio, and he would then just off the cuff interview the different, or excuse me, he would introduce. I'd be like, coming up on the pike, here is Liam Schubel, and now here's Dr. Jim DeBell to introduce him. And then he would just say, Liam Schubel, he's gonna go places, and it was so cool. But the point was, it was on a CD. This has totally changed. You're taking advantage of the technology to its greatest potential, and I think that's great. And it's not only great just because I like to geek out on this stuff, it's great for chiropractic. And when it's great for chiropractic, it's great for humanity. Mm-hmm. Because when chiropractors win, everybody wins.
Yeah, and here's a quick tip to everybody out there watching. If you guys don't know about podcasting, I'll tell you why we're so successful is because we do something with repurposing, that we're content monsters. So we take one thing, we run a Facebook Live interview of our podcast on Zoom. So you have to have the webinar package for that. If you want more information on how to get a podcast off the ground, send me a direct message. But I'll tell you, once we do that Facebook Live interview off of that Zoom feed, we strip the audio from that. We disseminate that down into every platform under the sun that we can push to.
We would put it on CDs.
See, we push it to Amazon, we push it to iTunes, we push it to Google Play, we push it to Spotify.
And then cassette tapes.
and then we take that video, and then we push that to YouTube, and then we take clips of that and we repurpose it to Facebook. Then we take clips of that and we put it on Instagram. Then we push it onto LinkedIn. Then we push it onto all the major players in the arena of where people's eyes, ears, and hearts are. So where people are pushing that scroll, we want to be in their scroll. When people are on their commute, we want to be at their commute.
This should be you got to rebrand to Chiro Animal Podcast. This is awesome. You're doing great. So I just want to bless you and admonish you in that. Continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Thank you for letting me hold the microphone. It felt good. And I guess I just blanked. That's great. I'm glad we're live.
Well, I'll go and take over.
Oh, I know what I want to say. My podcast, you know what blows me away about this medium is that my podcast currently is still being listened to. There are fresh ears. There are students that are graduating right now that are listening to Spinal Column Radio and are capturing the great moments that we had with people like Reggie Gold, Frank Savinsky, John Hoffman. These are people that are no longer with us. Sue Brown. These are people that have passed away, and yet their voices live on Spinal Column Radio. SpinalColumnRadio.com. It's still there. Yes, the website looks like it's from 2010 because it was.
Local Gold can help you out.
Well, I mean, it's sitting up there, but it's still continuing to push out content. And so I just wanted to let people know, go back, check it out. As long as I still am turning a crank and making money in my day job, we're going to keep it up. And maybe one day we will relaunch and come back with more fire than ever.
2.0.
2.0, but that's in the future.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Tom Lamar here for spending some time with me, sharing the microphone with me. Not a lot of people get to do that, so I just want to say kudos to him for asking me.
I saw Rose Panico take the microphone from you and just start talking. Do you remember that? Yeah, I knew. As a podcaster, I was like, oh man, he just lost complete control.
And she's like 90, okay?
Yeah, and she's like 90. I lost control once with Fred Schofield. I think it was. I interviewed the guy like 7 times.
Well, thanks, Tom. Thank you, ChiroFest. Thank you, Paul Reed. If you guys need digital marketing strategies, websites, marketing help, localgold.com is the website to go to.
You got to love the sponsor. We had a sponsor, too.
And if you guys wanted to jump on and be interviewed by Chiro Hustle, send me a direct message. I'll make sure you get on by the new year. And I'm going to close out by saying you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. We'll see you guys in the next one.